Today we have our another new episode, and we will discuss on advance in Nikola Tesla technologies. But definitely, we do focus on artificial intelligence. Our audience, recently Tom visited Bangladesh, and he visited Bida Prime Minister Office. He visited Dhaka University, Asanullah universities. Beside that, different corporations, different projects, and everywhere we see that we have a demand for artificial intelligence when we do the corporate brainstorming. So, Mr. David J. Kelly, I already offered him to do a series with World Talent Economy Forum because right now we are working with 2.5 billion people in South Asia. We have many corporation, government agency, and academy. So they need more involvement with the artificial intelligence, and we want to create awareness through today's sessions. Mr. David J. Kelly, he is world famous speaker and world famous scientist who is innovating technology through his AGI lab. We have our another speaker, Mr. Jeffrey. So we're going to discuss on Nikola Tesla, but we do more focus on artificial intelligence. Mr. David Jekali, what you want to share with our audience?
Sure. So glad to be here today. Sorry, my camera's not really working, but I do have some stuff I can show people. As you know, I am an expert in AI, or I work in AI. My research interest is primarily around cognitive architectures, and I'm not really a historian or that much of an expert related to Nikola Tesla, but related to AI, I just like to show everyone some of the tools that they could use now with regard to AI. So, I would want to make a case that the singularity is already here, and it's a slow start. And I want to give some examples of why I say that. So hopefully you guys have heard about OpenAI, I assume.
Yes.
And
yes.
One of the tools that they have is the ability to is this Chat GPT that everyone can sign up with, and just the power that it can bring. So we at our lab we've been working with generative language models like this for probably 5 years, and with OpenAI for 3 years, and what I'd like to show you guys is some of the things you can do with these tools. And you can sign up for free, and you can have it do just about anything, and in a lot of cases people can have it almost do their jobs for them. I mean, it can't think independently, but it really can make you orders of magnitude more productive. So let's say we want to learn about, or we need to write a paper about Nikola Tesla. I can go write me a history paper about the life and impact of Nikola Tesla in modern society. And we wait a few seconds. And here's our paper.
ChatGPT.
Yep. Yeah, this is ChatGPT.
What made me really think is like we have ChatGPT now.
Yeah.
Imagine like the kids who are 3 or 4 years old right now who are gonna grow this kind of stuff. Like I don't even know what kind of future they're gonna make with this.
Now, another just a completely different kind of thing that really starts to show how powerful it is. Let's see. write me a JavaScript Node.js web service that takes two input values and processes them and returns a value. So, if you don't know programming language very well, if you can just describe what you want to accomplish, it'll write your code for you.
Yeah, but I've always had trouble getting that code because I have zero coding experience. Taking that code and creating like a program or app from it.
Well, that's true. It I think actually that makes a point. The tools like this can't replace people, but if you know the job, it can make it so you don't really have to do much work, because it's just the little bit of experience and knowledge you have. It's much easier for you to just pick up something you already know and it's done for. Like for me, I know programming and I know it well. So for me, this, I would tweak this, tweak that, and poof, I'm done. I had 10 minutes worth of work. Like I wrote a program for work a couple of weeks ago, and I had it probably took me an hour and about 15 questions for me to do it. Like here I was in the middle of writing something a couple of weeks ago, and I actually this wasn't a couple of weeks ago, I think this was yesterday, and poof, there it is. I just cut and pasted so I could so I didn't have to spend the time doing it. It's here was some other code writing, I think. Oh no, that's this is technical directions that I had it rewrite because I needed them to be easier to understand.
Where do you because for people like me who don't know how to code, where do you think the intersection is where?
Well, you need to learn how to code.
Yeah, that too. But I was thinking about when will it get to such an advanced model that we could just say, like, write an app that does this and it does it automatically. I guess that'll be here in the.
I mean, that's mostly here now. The trick is you have to know how to specify it.
Yeah.
You got to be very, very precise before it'll, it can have it write code. Like this program, I had to know very specifically what I wanted, and it was able to do it. And I just cut and paste. Right?
Cool.
But if you don't understand and that's the trick, if you don't understand what you're doing, it's hard for you to specify. And that's part of the reason why, these tools are really powerful, but that doesn't take people out of the loop. People still need to be there. It's not going to take anyone's job away because you still need a human to frame the question and understand what to do with the output. And if you don't know enough to be able to frame your prompt to the language model, you're not going to you're not going to get what you get. You're not going to be able to use it as effectively. And so I think for people wanting to get into this and take advantage of it, you still have to learn some skill enough that you can frame the questions to be able to pull it out. But if you can do it, it'll do these things for you. Even like with book writing, I have kind of this technique for um, it's like a framing algorithm that you give it a thesis and it'll write a research paper and do the research. And under the covers, it's breaking everything down, and in part it calls a language model, but it's also then calling research APIs and other stuff, and then it puts it all together into a 50-page research paper on some topic. And that's the kind of thing that it's one of just almost an infinite amount of things. Like actually 2 days ago, we wrote a recursive algorithm that it's a prompt algorithm that uses a language model to determine if there is any one of 188 biases present in a block of text. And we have this bias encoding system and some other stuff like that. But the power of these tools is in not how much they can replace people, but how much more productive people can be. And that's where we get into this intelligence explosion. Now, that being said, I believe these tools, this is probably the first AGI sort of technology that's really available in mass. It's not a standalone AGI, but it can be used as part of an AGI. And there's a number of projects that are sort of jury rigging it. And then we've got a demo AGI that we've been working on, and collective systems that we've been working on that have been using these technologies for a number of years. But it's not like these systems can just wake up tomorrow and take over the world. And that's why, I don't think it's anything to be afraid of, but these systems are here, and it's in the next couple of years, we're going to see massive impact because of things like this.
Excellent. Professor David Kelly, can you share some of your features of AGI? I know that you are innovating new technologies. I think know what Tom will explain
sure.
to
So like our demo AGI is a complete system. It uses graph data as contextual memory, and it implements a cognitive architecture where a language model is part of that architecture. And I can actually show you. Let me pull it up, and it has uses emotions to decide how it feels about things. It you can talk to it. It generates its own goals and interests and things like that. And yeah, I'll show you the demo system. Let me share my screen again. Let's see, window, entire screen. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, so we're gonna run the AGI. So master controller, AGI shard. Start the project. So this is a system designed to basically demonstrate all the core functionality of an AGI. Now, there's a lot of stuff on the screen here, and I'm not going to get into all of it, but this thing over here is showing primary and secondary emotions, both subconscious and conscious. These are matrices that are used to understand how emotions relate to each other. This will track things. But you can actually talk to it. It's now one of the things it does initially is it goes out to a master controller to pull a bunch of graph data down, and then it talks to a bunch of resources online. But that all comes together in what's called a global workspace, where the internal experience of the machine is put together. Uh, right now, eventually, this stream of consciousness, so it'll start thinking on its own, and that stuff will appear here. But we can kind of wake it up a little bit and get it to cycle if we just ask it a question. Hello. Oh, see, it's already about free will, or thinking about free will. How are you doing today? I'm doing well, thank you. How about you? So you can talk to it. Any conscious conversation will also show up in this stream of consciousness. And let's see if it's interested in anything yet. I think that's the command. Yeah, so here's a list in the log about what it's currently interested in. Let me kind of make the text bigger so you guys can see it. But in any case, so it's now, it'll just continue like that, and it'll start trying to do things. It go out to websites. It can write to disk and do different things like that. And this interface here is a CLI, if anyone's familiar with that, a command line interface. And this T command I used is, it makes the machine think it hears this. And then you can see it's experiencing different emotions here to different degrees. And that's, that's the kind of technology we're going to see, over the next 5 years.
Cool.
Yeah. Jeffrey, you want to share any views or you have any questions?
Yeah. My thing is just I guess I think there's a huge gap like of knowledge starting to appear between like people who are like staying on top of the AI research and looking at the newest kind of tech coming out, and then there are some people who, like, if you're not keeping up with it, then it's advancing at such a high rate nowadays that it's like, if you're not up with the new AI stuff, you're still on like iPhone 8 or something. And yeah, it's just coming at such a high rate of new stuff that I think it's really important to try to figure out what the best use for this stuff is, because a lot of people are using it just to like write songs and whatever. You go on ChatGPT, write me a song about bananas or something, and that's not really, that's kind of not a responsible use of such a powerful technology. And yeah, I think while it can be used for all that of that stuff, there needs to be like a way to use it more responsibly, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mr. David J. Kelly, specifically your the AI and innovation, how it will be helpful for different corporation for their automations and everything.
How, how will it be careful?
Yeah, or helpful.
Helpful.
Well, there's almost an infinite amount of things you can do with this kind of technology. It can run things. It can optimize processes. It can monitor the network. You can create just all kinds of things in terms of helping other people, be creative. It can, it can do design logos. It can do paintings and artwork. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that they can take advantage of to, to help the company, whether it augments their art department or their marketing department or manufacturing or product development. It really can be used in all of those fields, enhancing all of the people in every single role. Now, one of my goals is I want to see different types of collective intelligence, where you kind of take the people inside an organization and you allow them to function as a sort of meta organism through the use of in part technologies like this to be able to improve the lives of others. I want to see us get to a 3-day work week. And I think that's completely reasonable and possible with these kinds of technologies. It's just, I think it's amazing the kinds of stuff we'll be able to do.
Professor David J. Khalib, there are a lot of corporations in South Asia, and it's around 2.5 billion people, 25% population here. So how we can train people for this technology? Otherwise, I think adapting this technology will be difficult for our emerging economy. What do you think?
Well, I think, in a lot of ways, people just need to continue to, learn the things that they normally learn, and learn skills. And in a lot of ways, I might not let people under the age of 24 use technology like this. If I had my way, and so that people kind of were forced to learn just like before, learn math, learn science, learn all this stuff, because you need all of it to really make the optimal use of these technologies. And then in college, start or as an adult, learn this idea of framing so that you can take use of technologies in the skills and the interests you already have. So it's not like we're using the technology to replace anyone, but we're just making people, orders of magnitude smarter. But the problem is you still need to develop as a person, because if we start letting 12-year-olds use it, I think it'll do more damage than good.
Yeah, it'd be like letting a 12-year-old drive your car. Not a good idea.
Right. So that's kind of where I have some concerns.
Yeah, it seems like right now the AI is kind of behind like people who have coding experience. But so I guess what we're trying to get into is what's the best way to integrate it at a level that can help a lot of people. Like we're talking about kids, maybe if we had like a version that was like less, that was kind of like handicapped baby version for kids.
I wouldn't, it's just, there's no reason to bother, in my opinion. I think, heck, if I had my way, I wouldn't let them have smartphones until they're 24 either. I think it would be better for everyone. Because one of the problems I'm seeing is that people are losing their ability to think properly. They can't sit down and hyper focus on a piece of math for 8 hours straight, right? They're too needing to multitask, and they can't do this really complex really complex roles. And if we continue to do that, I think the people that write the most complex algorithms and do the hardest research jobs, that mathematicians and things like that do, even with this technology, um, there'll be less and less people that do that. And I think there's a risk of creating a sort of an elite, as it were, because of these effects like that. So I don't know. I guess I have mixed feelings about the whole thing.
It,
Go ahead.
Yes. Another speaker, Dr. Talib Rafat. Dr. How are you today?
Good, good, good. I'm very good. Thank you.
Okay, after a long time, we were
been a lot.
worried about your health.
It's been a while.
Everything okay?
Yes, yes, you're right. Everything's okay
Okay, excellent.
now. Good.
Okay, great. Dr. Talib, we are discussing about AGI. We have our scientist, Dr. David J. Kelly, who innovate the technology of advanced general intelligence. He's discussing about his innovations. What do you think? Like, because of these innovations, it will advance our communities, especially the emerging economy, or it will create more challenges for human being?
No, I think it will advance our communities. I think it will
Okay, great.
advance our communities. I think it's the human beings have been advancing in this for a long period of time, and now is the time to reconciliate with that. Even in the developing world, internet is for everybody. So I think it's going to be good for everybody. I'm not pessimistic about it.
Okay. Professor David J. Kelly, Dr. Talib Rafal still believe that uh, your innovation can help to improve uh, the human being. But there are a lot of debate that because of these innovations and because of the improvement of AI, human will lose lot of job. What is your perception? Uh,
Well, I mean, to some degree, there's always been, with innovation, there's been shifts in society and people have lost jobs, but there can be new jobs. It's
Right.
like going from the horse and carriage to cars, um, uh, or just farming. I mean, you go
Right.
back 300 years and 90% of everyone was farming. Now it's 3% of the population is connected to farming, at least in the United States. Uh, and and there'll be those mass shifts. So there'll be things that we need to deal with as a society. That's as we shift the structure of our economies, and I think it behooves people to uh, stay up to date with their skills, so it's easier for them to um, be successful in these new societies, or the new things that are happening in the world.
I agree.
yes, yes. Mr. Jeffrey, like, uh, what do you think? How we can develop skills for the youth communities? The emerging economy, around 60% people, they are youth, they are under 30s. So definitely when they have to adjust with this kind of technologies, they have to like improve their skills and knowledge. How we can do that?
yeah, I think using AI is going to help people learn, um, expand their horizons for sure. Um, I think it'll help incorporate, I guess, in schools and stuff right now. Um, I mean, I think it's going to be a huge advantage for people because even like me growing up using Google, um, ChatGPT is a lot more powerful. And as far as creating new jobs for the youth community, Um, I guess the main thing for youth is they want to feel like they're making an impact and contributing to society. Um, so I guess AI could maybe like almost help government and help young people govern themselves better and find direction a little easier. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for.
uh, Dr. Talib Rafael, how we can train our next generation for this kind of technology.
Okay,
You are also
the
work
next
for
gener-
ILO.
the next generation is very much equipped for that. As David Jackley said, we are moving from one technological era into another technological era. Now, many jobs will be lost, but other new jobs will be created. And the youth will know how to deal with that, especially the young people in the developing world. They know how to deal with it. Now, what's the situation here? The situation is that AI is going to change our lives. Our educational system, our professional system has to change with it, just like any other innovation in technology has to change. But that change is for the better, definitely. Now, many people are very pessimistic about this. So I'm not pessimistic at all. I think it will be good for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. David Jekyll, what's your advice specifically for the academy? Because when from the research lab you are innovating this kind of technology, uh, the emerging economies, universities, and institutions they have to improve a lot. Recently, Tom visited some largest universities. He met with the vice chancellors, uh, and he shared his view about artificial intelligence with them. So, what is your advice for these universities and for this youth?
Well, I think the most important piece of advice I could give is to uh, continue to learn. You know, you've got to always be learning that and learn what you love. Get interested in in what you love and do things. Don't just learn to talk about them or philosophize about them. Do something, you know, whether it's if you're into programming, write a program or start a business or do something that creates something in the world, and that's where I think most people will be successful.
Okay, Mr. David J. Kelly, Dr. Talib Rafael, also a good politician. Do you think that your AGI, your new innovations, can help to the politicians to take their decisions and develop better policy for their community?
Yes, they can. They can because
Oh,
it makes getting information very easier for them, and analyzing this information. But it would have to be done in a very special way, and the educational system will have to change with accordingly, because the educational system now is designed in such a way that artificial intelligence will shake it. You can't ask students to make research now anymore because AI is going to do the research for you. You have to ask them how to think. I think David Jackley is very, very correct in saying that we need to approach this in a much more open way and in a way that can bring all of us together. It's important to note that it's not just how you do artificial intelligence. It's also the fact that many people around the world are now looking for new ways of doing things. And this is part of the struggle of the developing world, and the youth especially. The youth are very, very talented. They're the youth that are going and doing most of the work in the developed world, because the developed world does not have a very wide base of young people. Young people are all for artificial intelligence. Believe me. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor David Jekala, do you have any view about that point? Dr. David Jekali?
You're muted, Mr. David.
Yes. Mr.
Sorry,
Jeffrey,
something was happening in the
yeah.
background here. Repeat the question.
My question is that, like, do you believe that your software, your AI, can help to improve political decisions,
Yeah,
or can
absolutely.
help to, yes,
Our
how it
biggest,
can do that?
well, our biggest software project is the collective intelligence system, which is primarily designed around governance and making, I think, for the first time in society, we could theoretically manage a direct democracy at a large scale, which previously has not really been possible. We have things like the United States, for example, is not a true democracy. It's a republic, which is sort of a representative democracy. And if you in many other countries uh, um, have various versions of that. Um, and with the kinds of technology that we're doing, we could make government more efficient, more effective, but also give the people more direct control in such a way that everyone can participate as much as they are wanting to. And there could be less room for abuse than there is in governments today. Um, but we'll see. We'll see uh, if that kind of technology gets adopted.
Okay, Mr. Jeffrey, you want to share any of your view regarding this point?
For political, not so knowledgeable about that. Um, but I think AI is gonna open up like what life's gonna look like for a human being who's 2 years old now, and in 10 years growing up with this kind of technology. I mean, they could be learning how to do gardening. They could learn anything, and the amount of learning that a child could do with AI technology under the right teaching from adults, then that child is going to be like, I mean, they're going to know how to do anything and be able to weave ideas together, and they're going to be able to, they're going to have enough time to be able to be good at drawing, good at painting, singing. They're going to learn how to play instruments. They're going to learn how to like make stuff with their, because it's going to free up so much time. I mean, and all the answers are right there in front of us. So yeah, I guess it's going to really open up humanity to a new age of consciousness and life, in my opinion.
Dr. Talib Rafael, do you believe the future politician they will face more challenges because of this kind of technologies, and the political system will change because of technological adaptation? Dr.
It's
Talib, I cannot hear you.
yeah, muted.
Dr. Talib, I cannot hear you.
Still can't hear you. No sound.
Dr. Talib, I think you should join again. Cannot
Yeah,
hear you. Dr. Talib, we cannot hear you. I think you can join again. Sorry, Mr. Jeffrey, want to share any views? Mr. David J. Kelly? I
Yeah.
think,
Well, hopefully he'll be back soon. But I think
yes, he will be back.
um,
Yeah.
I think young adults that uh, I just
Can you
can't
hear me
iterate
now?
enough to go out and do something and learn
Hello.
something.
Can you hear me now?
We can
Yeah.
hear you.
Good, good. That's good. I'm glad you could hear me. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, we can hear you. Please,
Good.
Dr.
Okay, I
Talib.
said
Yeah.
everybody will have challenges in the future, but these challenges will be met by the young generation. Now, politicians have an opportunity to make better decisions now because AI will provide them with better insights on things, matters, and the young people will be helping in that. Now, I agree with David. America is not a perfect democracy, but the perfect democracies will come out in the future. They are democracies that are coming out of new technologies. That's for sure. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. David J. Kelly, you want to share anything about this point, specifically when we think that politicians will face some challenges and definitely they have to take many transparent decisions because of your innovation.
Well, one of the things I'm hoping is to start getting some of these collective systems adopted as a way of managing electronic voting, as well as helping politicians do policy analysis and keep connected with their constituency. Before I go in, and say, oh, we can just get rid of the politicians and have everyone vote directly on everything. Uh, but yeah, I think that's with helping people get, or representative governments get connected with the populations through the use of these digital voting and electronic, this policy analysis uh, with some of the tools like the generative AIs and the systems we're designing. I think that's where we'll see initial adoption, and hopefully we'll slowly move more and more towards a more open governmental system. And yeah, I think that's the strategy we're going to take.
Okay. Mr. Jeffrey, you want to share anything about that point?
Yeah, some of my friends were talking about using like blockchain and NFTs for voting, as a way of letting the votes not be like, what do you call it when they
Yeah,
mess up?
we would be using a blockchain system.
Yeah, stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
but
that's something.
you're bringing a lot of these technologies together. It's not just blockchain or AI. It's AI and blockchain and collective intelligence and generative AI systems and knowledge graphs and all of this kind of stuff together, where you create these sort of meta organisms in terms of the way everyone could work together and perform governance and policy analysis, things like that, and prevent corruption and all this sort of thing.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was
Dr.
also
Talib
thinking,
Rafa. Yeah, Mr. Jeffrey.
that AI could be used for. It's like analyzing plant growth, like an AI gardener that sort of measure things inside plants that we can't normally see or whatever with our eyes, and then somehow have an AI like checking on the health of plants. I mean, I guess they have AI that check on um
You can already do that today.
yeah, yeah, I guess they already have that stuff, but yeah, it's everything's coming out so fast, and there's a lot of um new applications, and I think fields of study that people are gonna, I guess, try to make their own AIs for, but that's, I guess, not really out yet. But yeah, because I've always been interested in like, man, how do I make my own AI? But
Learn to program first.
yeah, try to figure out how it all comes together.
That's right.
Get a book and a computer, and you should be good.
Right, pretty much. Yeah, people making their own AIs. Um, yeah, AI cars.
Thank you, Dr. Talib Rafael. What's your concluding remarks for today's sessions, and what is your advice for policymakers and politicians?
Okay. Now my concluding remarks is that AI is
Dr.
there to
Talib.
stay. AI is there to stay, for sure. It's not there to come out of it as a loser. Technology is always on the winning part. And I believe that AI is going to be the way for the future. It's going to change many things for many people, especially politicians. Politicians will have to think differently. They will have to represent their own people. Jeffrey talked about agriculture. It's not just agriculture. It's many, many other aspects of life that can be adjusted by AI. And I believe that AI would be a very important tool for politicians to get into their positions to start with, then to find solutions for their problems. That's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. David J. Kelly, what's your concluding remarks for today's session?
I think I get out there and do something you're interested in. If you're interested in gaming, if you're interested in science fiction, if you're, whatever it is, you can turn it into a career, turn it into a business, be a creator, and that's what we need in the new society. That is gonna, you're gonna have to learn to be a creator of something, or you'll get left behind. Learn, enjoy learning, and then learn to use these tools like OpenAI or some of these other things out there to just make what you do better.
Excellent. Mr. Jeffrey, what's your concluding remarks for today?
My concluding remarks are that I'm really impressed with the AI right now, and the more applications that come out, I think, to sort of allow regular people who don't know about coding as much to integrate AI in their creative process, then it's going to be really awesome for people coming up with like finding places where they can see a problem that normally we couldn't come up with a solution, then having the AI to sort of bridge that as help people.
Thank you everyone for joining today's session. Today we are discussing on Nikola Tesla technology, but definitely we do focus on artificial intelligence, which is very important for us. Near future, we have to train more people on artificial intelligence, and I believe that this kind of technology will help to improve our society. It will help to reduce the corruption. It will help to enhance the capacity of decision making of the politicians. And World Talent Economy Forum advocating for modern science, engineering, and technology. And hopefully through AGI Lab, we can bring more prosper and opportunity for emerging economy. Right now, we only focus on the South Asian market, and you know that there are 2.5 billion people. 25% of the population live in the South Asian region. So we have around 60% youth, more than 1 billion people actually youth. So we are making an effective strategy through World Talent Economy Forum, and we are collaborating with many scientists and corporate peoples and the politicians and the decision maker. And through this process, hopefully, we can develop more interesting opportunity for the youth. By this time, I want to inform you that already three big teams uh, from World Talent Economy Forum, especially from North America, from Tando, Professor Dr. Fred Philip. Second, Mr. Homestoner from Pacific Rim Business Council. You can say it's small medium enterprise UN. And third, Mr. Tom Rose from Trans-Humanist Party, they visit Bangladesh. They engage with the government agency, corporations, and academy. So hopefully, this kind of tool and this kind of real projects can help more uh, more of our community. So we want more collaborations. We want more collaboration on research and innovation. So if you have any idea, any good thoughts, and any good mechanism to improve our society, please share with us. And I want to give very special thanks to Dr. Talib Raphael, Mr. Jeffrey, and Dr. David J. Kelly for your continuous support for World Talent Economy Forum. This is our around 800 episode we finish, and we reach millions of people. Am sure Mr. Tom Rose in upcoming Transhumanist Party's Sunday Salon, he will share his experience about Bangladesh trip. I think it will be very interesting session. I want to invite you all to join in that sessions, and you can get some sort of real feedback what we are doing in real life besides this dialogue, uh, country like Bangladesh and India and in South Asia. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's session. I request all of our audience, please share our content with your government agency, corporation, and academy. Right now, we are working for millions of people, but soon we will engage with billions of people. We need more of your support. Thank you. Bye bye and take care.
Thank you, Sharif. And
Bye,
thank you,
everyone.
Ahmed, for
Thanks,
doing a
guys.
great job.